This is a D-list TV star in China named Zhang. He was just rescued from a scam compound in Burma in a town bordering Thailand called Myawaddy. And Myawaddy is centrally important to our video today. According to drone and satellite footage, which shows a small town but massively built with tall complexes and clear arranged zones, this town and in other parts of northern Burma has been filled with Chinese scam networks running illegal online gambling activities, pig butchering schemes, and human trafficking. The latest scam for struggling Chinese actors and actresses is that they're offered acting gigs and screen test gigs in Thailand, but by the time they arrive at the airport, their passports are confiscated, they're shipped to these border towns in Burma, and they are forced to work as ex-slaves or scammers. Zhang, or Star as his Chinese nickname translates to, was lucky. His loving girlfriend back home had worked tirelessly to try to get with law enforcement to understand the situation to bring him back home. First, when she tried to contact the local police in Shanghai, they didn't do anything. She escalated the situation, and eventually it reached the top influencers in the entertainment industry, and this whole thing blew up. Because she didn't give up and the public opinion exploded, the CCP had to do something. It was too big to ignore, so they called up the Thai authorities and he was rescued. And in this video, another Chinese celebrity is in front of a Thai airport speaking about his almost bad situation where he could have been scammed, and he's telling his story. Now, back to Star. When Zhang was rescued, he was interviewed. He said that with him, there were at least 50 plus other Chinese people in the place that he was kept, but in the whole town of Myawaddy, there's likely way more Chinese people still being trafficked. So was it a propaganda victory for the Chinese government, the CCP? Look at them. No matter where Chinese people are, they can rescue them back home. Well, it backfired. What it had done was unleash a floodgate of people pleading for help with the Chinese authorities about their missing family members gone missing after trying to find a job in Southeast Asia, particularly in Burma and in Thailand. This bigger problem for the Chinese authority, one of them is a list that was started with more than 1,000 entries now, detailing missing children from parents and family members, then was shut down days after by Chinese authorities, but has now been restored and started to be operated outside of China. Now, keep in mind here, the number of entries here do not represent the actual number of missing people in China, because likely way more people don't know about this entry, so the actual number is much higher. For every one TV celebrity, there's thousands of people still missing, and the Chinese authorities won't do anything about it because, well, they're not influential. And that's really the reality. Because they're regular people, the effort has been futile to get their sons and daughters back, and that's just how the CCP works. There's videos of mothers holding up the photo of their sons who had gone missing. There's hundreds of videos on Douyin of parents speaking out about their missing children in these areas. Now the table has turned because people are flocking to the comment section of Nationalist TV and action star Zhang, who of course starred in the movie called Wolf Warrior and the sequel Wolf Warrior 2, where after the movies had been produced, he went on a propaganda victory tour saying that anywhere you are in the world, as long as you have the Chinese passport, well, the Chinese government will have your back and you'll be rescued.
就一句，我爱国无罪。中国的护照不能让你去到世界上的任何一个地方，但是中国的护照可以把你从世界上任何一个地方带回来。一本中国护照就是通往最安全地区的通行证。中华人民共和国公民，当你在海外遭遇危险，不要放弃，请记住，在你身后有一个强大的祖国。
The reality, of course, is the opposite of that, and more people are realizing this. Under his and his wife's Weibo blog, people are commenting things like he's the passport bro, or that where is the passport bro when you need him the most, and things like did the Chinese passport stop working? Well, the reality is some people apparently are dumb enough to believe the lies told by Zhang, the fact that they think the Chinese passport means so much. In reality, it doesn't. So these people would go to dangerous places like in Burma, and when they're faced with danger, they finally realize that this passport, well, number one, doesn't work, and number two, it's Chinese people who are the ones who are trafficking them. Some internet users even suggested that they quickly make Wolf Warrior 3 escape from Myawaddy, so now the action hero Zhang can finally rescue his people one more time. And of course, there's no response from Zhang himself. People are also being sarcastic, saying, did Zhang get too into his role? He's method acting, and the fact that is he actually believed himself that this was the case with the Chinese passport, and you really thought that, yeah, no matter where he is, well, because he's a celebrity, he's the star, of course the Chinese government's going to come rescue him, but not the hundreds of thousands of regular Chinese folks. And here's where things get super interesting as we look deeper into the story. Remember this Al Jazeera documentary from summer of last year? Well, it detailed the connections of the Philippines' Bam mayor, Alice Guo, and a Chinese Ministry of State Security spy named She Zhijiang. And in fact, what's been really interesting is this case in Myawaddy ties directly to She Zhijiang. There's been a lot of speculations about what exactly is happening in Burma. Some of it actually makes sense, so we're going to talk about it. One of the speculation is that what if this whole Chinese scam Chinese situation was created so that in China, they can make it seem like anywhere else around the world is super dangerous except China, because China is the safest place. So you shouldn't be going outside of China because what if you face danger? So this fear-mongering is what some people are speculating online. And this man here had made a video saying people should not come to Thailand because they're going to get trafficked by Chinese people, not Thai, but Chinese people. And his account was suspended. He's fine, but his account was down. So taking with these speculations, She Zhijiang's role becomes even more interesting. As early as 2016, according to the Al Jazeera documentary, She Zhijiang was in the Philippines and he was already wanted by the Chinese government for some of the illegal stuff. But it was also around this time he was approached by the Ministry of State Security to become a spy for the ministry, which is China's spy wing, and in exchange for being able to go to China freely. And since then, he's had many high-profile trips in China, as well as attending one important dinner hosted by the former Filipino president Duterte, in which Xi Jinping also was there, and he's seen here with photos showing that he was in attendance. And it just turns out Myawaddy is a town that was part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, which is Xi Jinping's pet project of these overseas expansion of different infrastructure towns, and Myawaddy was one of them. Now, of course, since 2022, when She Zhijiang was arrested in Thailand, the CCP has made extensive efforts to distance themselves with She Zhijiang, even though She has now come out to say that he knows too much about the CCP, and of course, they want to get him. This is a screenshot of a report from back in 2017 on Chinese state media, which they were glorifying this whole development in Burma with China's Belt and Road Initiative. Here, She Zhijiang used his other name, which was She Longkai. He's the main person being mentioned as the person coordinating the construction project, and this is where a lot of these state-backed, powerful companies owned by CCP families were also involved in the construction of the town. In other words, the CCP was directly involved in what would become the scam and trafficking networks created in Burma. And in fact, they're even supplying them with the electricity from China Southern Electricity or China Southern Energy. And the phone numbers that they're able to obtain from Chinese people are from the 3 telecom giants in China. And they're even using their SIM cards for cell signals. That tells us if the CCP really wanted to rescue these poor people, they could have done it immediately, because they were the ones who helped to start this in the first place, but they don't. It was also interesting because during the time that She had worked as a Chinese spy, he obtained multiple new different names or aliases, and he also became a Cambodian citizen. Here, he became a bridging personality between the Chinese government and many of the Southeast Asian governments. She was able to work with his handler to obtain many high-profile projects, including a $350 million one with a Chinese state-owned enterprise called MCC International. Before his arrest, She had completed these projects in Myawaddy, which became, of course, the scam networks. But then by 2022, and then in that same year, he was arrested by the authorities in Thailand, and the CCP then went on to deny the connections that he's had with the Chinese government. Seeing that the Chinese government had betrayed She Zhijiang after he put out so much work for the Ministry of State Security, and that's why he went public with the Al Jazeera interview to try to tell it all. But the reality is this was always a relationship built on using each other to create something that eventually became a massive, massive explosive point for Chinese people. I hope many after this incident in China would understand that what's happening in those scam networks, compounds, and what's happening in Southeast Asia is really not the efforts of the local governments to scam people in China, but it's actually Chinese people doing it themselves. Because at the end of the day, if you're not somebody powerful and you're not somebody that's known, the chance of you being trafficked is very high, And yeah, so people are really scared right now. And unfortunately, the Chinese passport won't save you because you're really dealing with your own people. All right, that's it today for the episode on how the Chinese passport has lost its magic because, well, surprise, surprise, at the end of the day, they're being scammed by their own. And that's how the CCP works. If you enjoy the content, leave a like, comment below your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching today. Bye-bye.